Commander Jae-ho Kim stood tall as the airlock doors of the UEA's horizon hissed open. This was humanity's big moment, first official contact with the Galactic Council. His heart beat fast under his crisp blue uniform. 20 years in Earth's space fleet had not prepared him for this day. "Ready, Commander?" asked Hai-Jin Park, his technical officer. Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed the same mix of wonder and fear that Jae-ho felt. "As ready as we'll ever be," Jae-ho said with a small smile. He turned to face the 12 officers behind him. "Remember your training. We represent all of Earth today." The metal walkway extended from their ship to the massive space station. Through the viewport, Jae-ho could see the strange shapes of alien ships docked nearby. Some looked like giant sea creatures, others like perfect geometric shapes that seemed to bend light around them. As they walked across, Jae-ho noticed how the station seemed to adjust itself for human comfort. The air became warmer, the lights dimmer. Someone, or something, had studied humans closely. 5 aliens waited at the end of the walkway. They stood on 2 legs like humans, but were clearly not human. Their skin ranged from pale blue to deep purple. Their eyes, some had more than 2, blinked sideways. "Fleet Commander Kim," said the tallest alien in perfect Korean. Its voice came from a small device on its chest. "I am Chairperson Elox of the Galactic Council. We welcome Earth to our community of worlds." Jae-ho bowed slightly. "We are honored to be here, Chairperson. Earth looks forward to peaceful relations with all your member species." Something strange happened then. As Jae-ho stepped forward to shake hands, a gesture they had been told was acceptable, all 5 aliens took a small step back. Their eyes widened. One touched a device on its wrist that glowed briefly. "Is something wrong?" Jae-ho asked. No, Elox said quickly. "Just adjusting our field protocols. Please, follow us to the welcome ceremony." As they walked through the station, Jae-ho noticed more strange behavior. Aliens they passed would move to the side, giving the humans much more space than seemed necessary. Some even pressed flat against walls. Others whispered to each other. Their translation devices turned off. "They're afraid of us," Tai-Won Cho, the intelligence officer, whispered to Jae-ho. "But why? We're centuries behind their technology." Jae-ho had noticed the same thing. "Keep your eyes open. Something's not right." The welcome ceremony was held in a vast room with a ceiling that showed the stars outside. Hundreds of aliens from at least 30 different species gathered in small groups. When the human delegation entered, a hush fell over the room. "Your provisional membership in the council begins today," Chairperson Elox announced to the room. "Earth joins us as our 127th member world." Drinks were served in glasses that changed color to show if they were safe for human consumption. Food came on floating plates. Music played from nowhere. Jae-ho was speaking with a plant-like alien ambassador when he felt a light touch on his arm. He turned to find a humanoid alien with pale gray skin and large black eyes. "Commander Kim," the alien said quietly, "I am Arax of the Luminar. Might I have a word in private?" Jae-ho nodded and followed Arax to a quiet corner of the room. "Your people don't know, do they?" Arax asked, leaning close. "Know what?" "About the shadows that follow your kind." Jae-ho frowned. "I don't understand." Arax gestured subtly toward the floor. "Every human carries a guardian. We can see them, even if you cannot. They are why the Council approached Earth with such caution." Jae-ho looked down at his own shadow on the floor. It looked normal to him. "What are you talking about? You truly don't know." Arax seemed surprised. "How interesting. Your species evolved with them, so naturally that you never noticed their protection." Before Jae-ho could ask more questions, Chairperson Elox clinked a glass for attention. "To our new human friends," Elox called out, "may your integration into galactic society be smooth and beneficial for all." The room applauded, but Jae-ho noticed how many eyes were fixed not on the humans' faces, but on the floor around them. He looked down again at his shadow, which stretched long under the bright lights above. For just a moment, so brief he thought he imagined it, he could have sworn his shadow moved when he did not. "Commander," Hai-Jin was at his side. "Are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." Jai-Ho shook his head. "Not a ghost, Hai-Jin. But I think we need to look more closely at our shadows." As they rejoined the party, Jai-Ho noticed small devices placed around the room. They hummed softly whenever humans walked past. He realized now what they were for. The aliens were monitoring whatever they thought they saw around the humans. 3 months passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. Humans set up small bases on friendly alien worlds. Alien visitors came to Earth under strict rules. Both sides watched each other closely. Technical Officer Hai-Jin Park did not trust the aliens. Not after seeing how they looked at humans, with fear in their eyes. She requested to lead security at the new Korean research outpost on Moon Base Alpha. Commander Jai-Ho approved her request. "Something's not right," she told Taiwan Cho, the intelligence officer who joined her team. "The aliens give us old technology. They say it's to help us catch up, but I think they're testing us." Taiwan nodded. He was reviewing security footage in their small control room. "They're always watching our shadows. Whatever they see, it scares them." A loud alarm broke their conversation. Red lights flashed across the base. "Perimeter breach in Section 7, shouted a young security officer. Hai-Jin grabbed her pulse weapon. "Taiwan, with me. The rest of you, secure the research labs." They ran through the white hallways of the moon base. Their boots made no sound in the low gravity. They reached Section 7, a storage area near the outer wall. "There," Taiwan whispered, pointing. 3 figures in strange suits were opening containers and scanning the contents. They were not human. Their bodies were too thin, their heads too large. "Stop right there," Hai-Jin called out, her weapon raised. "You are trespassing on an Earth facility." The aliens froze. One dropped a scanning device. They did not reach for weapons. Instead, they backed away, pressing against the wall. "Please," one alien said in broken English. "We leave now. No harm." Hai-Jin stepped forward. "You are under arrest for unauthorized entry." Something strange happened then. The aliens' eyes grew wide with terror. They were not looking at Hai-Jin's weapon. They were looking at the floor around her. The shadows. One screamed. "They are active." Hai-Jin glanced down. Her shadow stretched normal on the floor. But when she looked back up, the aliens were running. "After them," she shouted. They chased the intruders through the storage section. The aliens were fast but seemed more focused on escaping than fighting. They kept looking back, not at their human pursuers but at something else. "Split up," Hai-Jin ordered. "Taiwan, take the left passage. I'll go right." As they separated, Hai-Jin saw something from the corner of her eye. A dark shape moved along the wall, not her shadow, but something similar. It moved ahead of her, like it was chasing the aliens too. She blinked, and it was gone. Was her mind playing tricks? The passage ended at a small hangar where the aliens kept their ship. The intruders rushed toward it, but stopped suddenly. They huddled together, shaking. Hai-Jin saw why. Dark shapes blocked their path to the ship. Shadows without owners moved across the floor and walls. They looked almost like human figures, but stretched and flowing like black water. "What is that?" she whispered to herself. The aliens fell to their knees as Hai-Jin and Taiwan caught up. "Please," the lead alien begged. "Control your guardians. We surrender." "Our what?" Taiwan asked, his weapon still raised. "The shadow beings," the alien said, pointing with a trembling hand. "They protect you. They will kill us if you wish it." Hai-Jin stared at the dark shapes. As she watched, they seemed to become clearer. They did look like shadows of humans, but they moved on their own. One stood between her and the aliens as if protecting her. I don't understand, she said. What are they? You truly do not know. The alien seemed shocked. The shadow symbiotes have been with humans forever. All species know this. It is why many fear Earth. Taiwan took out his scanner. On the regular view, nothing showed. But when he switched to the alien detection settings they had captured, the screen lit up with moving shapes. They're real, he whispered. Our technology can't see them, but theirs can. Hai-Jin made a decision. We're taking you and your ship to Commander Kim. You're going to explain everything about these shadows. As they led the aliens away, Hai-Jin noticed the shadow shapes followed. They moved smoothly, always staying between the humans and the aliens. Why didn't you tell us about these guardians when we joined the council? Ta-1 asked the aliens. The lead alien looked surprised. We thought you knew. We thought you were pretending not to know. A power move. The council feared you were letting your shadows show just enough to frighten us. Back at the main base, Commander Jai-Ho watched the security footage. His face grew serious as Ta-1 showed him the scanner readings. So we have invisible protectors, Jai-Ho said quietly. And they scare the most advanced species in the galaxy. Hai-Jin looked at her own shadow on the floor. It seemed normal again. Commander Jae-Ho Kim called an emergency meeting in the secure room of Moon Base Alpha. Only his most trusted people were there. Hai-Jin Park, Tai-Wen Cho, and Dr. Sun Mi-Kang, the military psychologist who had just arrived from Earth. Play the footage again, Jai-Ho said. On the large screen, they watched the shadows move independently during the alien capture. The regular camera showed nothing unusual, but Ta-One's modified scanner revealed dark shapes moving around the humans. Have we seen these shadows before? Dr. Kang asked, leaning forward to study the images. Tai-Wen nodded. We checked all our recordings since first contact. Once we knew what to look for, we found them everywhere. They're always with us. The aliens call them symbiotes or guardians, Hai-Jin added. They thought we were controlling them on purpose. Jai-Ho stood up and paced the room. We need to know more. Sun Mi, what's your professional opinion? Dr. Kang pushed her glasses up and spoke carefully. If these entities have been with humans our entire history, they might be part of our development. A symbiotic relationship we never noticed. Like bacteria in our bodies. Ta-Wen asked. More complex, Sun Mi replied. From what we've seen, they react to threats. They protect us. I think they might be connected to our minds somehow, perhaps a form of psychic extension that evolved alongside us. Hai-Jin looked down at her own shadow. Can we communicate with them? We should try, Sun Mi said, but carefully. A message alert beeped on Jai-Ho's wrist device. His face turned serious as he read it. The Galactic Council has called an emergency meeting. They want me there in 6 hours. He looked around the room. They know we've discovered the shadows. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The council chamber was a massive room with seats for all 127 member species. Today, most seats were full. All eyes followed Jai-Ho as he walked to the center. Commander Kim, Chairperson Elok said from the high platform. Recent events suggest humans have become aware of certain aspects of their biology that were previously unknown to them. You mean the shadow entities? Jai-Ho said directly. The room filled with whispers. Yes, we've discovered them. What we want to know is why the council didn't tell us about them from the beginning. A tall bird-like alien stood up. Because it is unprecedented. No species has ever evolved with umbral symbiotes without knowing about them. We assumed you were hiding your abilities. Hiding? Jai-Ho asked. We still don't understand what these shadows even are. Chairperson Elox raised a hand for quiet. Perhaps it is time for truth. Commander Kim, humans are unique in the galaxy. You are the only known species that naturally bonds with these interdimensional beings. The chamber's center lit up with a hologram showing the human figure. Next to it was a dark, shifting shape that looked like a shadow but moved independently. The entities you call shadows exist partially outside normal spacetime, Elox explained. They bond with humans from birth. Our scientists believe they feed on small amounts of your mental energy while providing protection in return. Feed on us. Jaiho didn't like the sound of that. A fair exchange, Elox said quickly. They take very little. What they give is much more valuable. Another council member spoke up, a blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. They have been protecting your species from threats you never knew existed. Cosmic radiation that would have harmed your development. Early alien observation missions that turned hostile. Even from each other in some cases. We've detected at least 15 extinction-level events in Earth's history that were mysteriously averted. Added a small green alien. Now we know why. Jaiho tried to process this information. You're saying humanity only survived because of these shadow protectors. Precisely, Elox said. And that is why many species fear Earth. You command powerful guardians without even trying. Imagine what humans might do if you learned to control them consciously. As if responding to these words, Jaiho's shadow on the floor seemed to darken and stretch slightly. Several council members gasped and moved back in their seats. "See," shouted one alien. They respond to his emotions. This is why humans must be contained. No, Elox said firmly. This is why humans must be understood. The chairperson turned to Jaiho. Commander, we propose a joint research initiative. Your Dr. Kang will work with our scientists to study these symbiotes safely. Back on the ship, Jaiho reported everything to his team. So we've had invisible bodyguards our whole lives, Taiwan said, sounding impressed. Bodyguards that scare the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, Hai Jin added. Dr. Kang was thoughtful. This explains so much about human history. The lucky escapes. The unexplained survivals against impossible odds. The council is afraid, Jaiho said, but also curious. They want us to learn how to control these shadows. Can we? Hai Jin asked. Jaiho looked down at his shadow on the floor. For a brief moment, he thought he saw it wave. I think, he said slowly, we're about to find out. The joint research team set up in a special lab on the Galactic Council space station. Dr. Sun Mi Kang led the human side. The aliens sent their top scientist, Selter, a tall being with silver skin and eyes that changed color with his mood. Your shadow entities are quite active today, Selter said as Sun Mi entered the lab. His eyes glowed orange, showing curiosity. I can't see them, Sun Mi replied. That's why we need your help. The lab was filled with strange machines. Some looked like glass boxes with dark energy moving inside. Others were just lights that changed when humans walked past. We have studied your kind from afar for centuries, Selter explained. But never this closely. He pointed to a large screen showing the human shape with a shadow figure attached to it. We call them umbral symbiotes. They exist partially outside normal spacetime. What does that mean? Sun Mi asked. It means they can see things we cannot, move in ways we cannot. Selter's eyes turned a deep blue. They are not fully in our world. Part of them exists in a space between dimensions. Commander Jaiho entered the lab with Hai Jin and Taiwan. Show us everything you know, he ordered. Selter nodded and touched a control panel. The large screen changed to show scenes from Earth's history, ancient battles, natural disasters, even early space missions. We have been watching Earth for a long time, Selter said. Many times we saw strange things happen. People surviving when they should not. Disasters stopping for no reason. The screen showed a large meteor breaking apart before hitting Earth. That was in 1908, Taiwan said. Tunguska, Russia. Yes, Selter replied. Our records show multiple shadows joined together to break it. They saved many lives that day. Why didn't we know about them? Hai Jin asked. Your minds cannot normally perceive them, Selter explained. And they seem to prefer it that way. They act like perfect guardians, protecting without asking for credit. Sun Mi studied the images carefully. Do they think? Feel? Are they conscious? We believe so, Selter said. His eyes now glowed purple, but differently from us. They experience time and space in ways we cannot understand. Jaiho crossed his arms. Why are all aliens so afraid of them? Selter was quiet for a moment. Then he touched another control. The screen showed dark shapes fighting against strange alien creatures. The shadows moved like water but hit like solid objects. This happened 300 years ago, he said. An aggressive species tried to harvest humans for study. The shadows attacked them. No weapons worked against the shadows. No ship could outrun them. The entire battle fleet was destroyed. The humans watched in silence as the shadows tore through advanced alien technology, like it was paper. The shadows only attack when humans are threatened, Selter continued. But when they do attack, they are unstoppable. That is why the Council fears Earth. We've never seen them like this, Hai-Jin said. Because you've never faced a threat big enough, Selter replied. Small dangers, like the aliens you caught at your moon base, only activate them slightly. A full-scale attack would wake them completely. Sun Li had an idea. Can you help us see them? If they're part of us, we should know them. Selter's eyes turned yellow with worry. That is dangerous. The Council fears what might happen if humans learn to control their shadows. We need to understand what's attached to us, Jaiho said firmly. It's our right. After much discussion, Selter agreed. He brought out a small device shaped like a disc. This uses special energy to shift your perception. It might let you see them for a short time. He placed the disc on a table and activated it. A soft hum filled the room. At first, nothing happened. Then, slowly, dark shapes became visible around each human. They were not just flat shadows on the ground. They rose up like dark smoke, forming shapes that matched their human partners, but could move independently. I see mine, Hai-Jin whispered. Her shadow looked like a darker version of herself, but more fluid, able to stretch and change. Taiwan reached out toward his shadow. To everyone's surprise, the shadow reached back. Their fingers almost touched. They know us, Sun Mai said in wonder. Jaiho's shadow was larger than the others. It stood straight beside him, like a guardian. Can we talk to them? He asked Selter. We've never managed communication with them, Selter admitted. They seem to understand intent and emotion, but not words. Jaiho looked directly at his shadow. We know about you now, he said simply. Thank you for protecting us. The shadow seemed to bow slightly. Then it pointed at the door. A moment later, alarms sounded throughout the station. What's happening? Jaiho demanded. Red lights flashed throughout the space station. A voice spoke in many languages over the speakers, telling everyone to go to safe areas. Those are Council security ships, Selter said, checking the monitors. But they should not be here during peace talks. Commander Jaiho's communication device beeped. Kim here, he answered. Commander, this is Security Officer Yun Jai-Li, came a woman's voice. I'm with the Earth delegation in Section 12. Armed aliens are entering the station. They're looking for humans. Get everyone to safety, Jaiho ordered. We're coming to you. Selter's eyes turned white with fear. This must be the work of the Purity faction. They believe Earth is too dangerous to join the Council. Then we need to leave now, Hai-Jin said. Jaiho turned to his team. Taiwan, download everything from these computers. Sun Mai, bring the shadow viewing device. We need to understand what's happening. They moved quickly through the station's hallways. The shadows around them were now clearly visible to everyone, not just the humans. They moved ahead of the group like scouts checking for danger. They're protecting us, Sun Mai said. They sensed the threat. They turned a corner and found 3 armed aliens blocking their path. The aliens wore black armor and carried energy weapons. Halt, humans, one shouted. By order of Council security, you are under quarantine. Jaiho stepped forward. We have diplomatic status. You have no right to detain us. The council has voted, the alien replied. Earth is too dangerous. Your shadow weapons must be contained. The aliens raised their weapons. Before they could fire, the human shadows moved. They shot forward like dark water, wrapping around the aliens' weapons. The guns sparked and went dead. What's happening? Hai-Jin gasped, watching her own shadow extend and move on its own. They're defending us, Ta-1 said, just like in the historical records. The aliens backed away in terror as the shadows grew larger. One shadow formed a shape like a hand and pushed an alien against the wall. Another knocked a weapon to the floor. We need to control them, Jaiho said urgently. If they kill Council security, Earth will be labeled as hostile. Li appeared from a side passage with 3 more humans. Commander, this way. As they ran together, Yunji explained, I felt something strange when the aliens came for us. Like a voice in my head with no words, my shadow responded when I thought about stopping the aliens. You can control your shadow? Sunmei asked, excited. Not exactly control, Yunji said. More like suggest. When I focused on disarming instead of harming, it followed my intent. They reached a large room used for meetings. Inside were more human delegates and a few friendly alien representatives. The Purity faction has taken control of security, said a small green alien named Mick. They fear what would happen if humans learned to use their shadows as weapons. That's exactly what we're trying to avoid, Jaiho said. We want to understand the shadows, not weaponize them. A loud explosion shook the station. The lights flickered. They've blocked all exits to the docking bays, Ta-1 reported, checking his device. We can't reach our ships. Yunji stood near the door, her shadow extending under it to watch the hallway outside. More troops coming, she warned. At least 10. Jaiho made a quick decision. Sunmei, work with Yunji. See if others can learn to communicate with their shadows like she does. Hai-Jin, Ta-1, find us another way off this station. We need to get this information back to Earth. The door exploded inward. Armed aliens rushed in, weapons raised. Surrender the humans, their leader demanded. The shadows in the room reacted instantly. They formed a dark barrier between the humans and the aliens. Some shadows stretched up the walls and across the ceiling, making the room darker. See, the alien leader shouted. They use their weapons against us. This proves humans cannot be trusted. They're protecting us because you're attacking us, Jaiho argued. Lower your weapons, and they'll stand down. We will not negotiate with Shadow Masters, the alien replied. Yunji stepped forward. Her shadow moved with her, but differently than before. It seemed more controlled, more purposeful. Watch, she said quietly to Jaiho. She closed her eyes for a moment. Her shadow slid across the floor and wrapped around an alien's legs. With a quick pull, it knocked him down without hurting him. His weapon slid across the floor. The other aliens backed away in horror. She controls the darkness, one cried out. Hyunjai looked at her hands in wonder. Not control exactly. We're working together. 6 hours after the attack, Chairperson Elox called for an emergency meeting of the full council. The large chamber was tense. Armed guards stood at every door. The human delegation sat on one side, while the Purity faction members sat opposite them. This violence goes against everything the council stands for, Elox said, voice echoing through the chamber. Attacking diplomatic guests is forbidden by our oldest laws. The leader of the Purity faction stood up. He was tall with red skin and 4 arms. The humans have shown they can control their shadow weapons. The safety of the galaxy comes before any law. Commander Jaiho stepped into the center of the room. His shadow moved with him, slightly darker than normal and perfectly visible to everyone now. We did not attack anyone, Jaiho said firmly. Our shadows defended us when your people tried to capture us. There's a big difference. Elox nodded slowly. This is true. Our recordings show the humans used minimal force. The chairperson looked around the room. But the council must address the larger concern. Humans with conscious control of umbral symbiotes could pose a danger to galactic peace. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Jiho could feel the fear. These advanced aliens, with their amazing technology and ancient civilizations, were terrified of humans and their shadows. We propose a solution, Elox continued. Humans must develop methods to control their symbiotes properly, or Earth will be quarantined from galactic civilization. Quarantine. Jiho repeated. You mean cut off from all contact? Yes, Elox said, for the safety of all. The Purity faction leader pounded the table. Quarantine is not enough. Their shadows can travel between stars faster than our ships. We've seen this in our studies. They must be neutralized. Dr. Sun Mikang stepped forward to join Jiho. Neutralized? You mean separated from us? That could kill millions of humans. A regrettable but necessary sacrifice, the Purity leader said coldly. Jiho felt anger rise in him. Around the human delegation, their shadows grew darker and more defined. Some aliens gasped and moved back in their seats. See how they threaten us, someone shouted. Jiho took a deep breath and calmed himself. The shadows settled back to normal. This reaction did not go unnoticed by the council members. You propose we control our symbiotes, Jiho said to Elox. Yet you won't help us understand them. How can we control what we don't understand? Elox considered this. What do you suggest, Commander? A research partnership, Jiho proposed. Not just studying the shadows, but working together to understand them. These beings have been part of human history forever. Maybe they're not weapons. Maybe they're meant to help all of us. The chamber went quiet as the council members considered this. Finally, Elox spoke. The council will allow a research team under strict supervision. You have 1 Earth month to show progress in controlling these entities. After that, we vote on Earth's status. As they left the chamber, a young human researcher named Jin Woo-yoon approached Jiho and Sunmei. He had joined the delegation as a theoretical physicist just days before. Commander, I've been analyzing the data from Selter's lab, Jinwoo said excitedly. I don't think the shadows are separate entities at all. What do you mean? Sunmei asked. I think they're manifestations of human consciousness, Jinwoo explained. Extensions of our minds that evolved to interact with dimensions beyond normal perception. That's why Yeonji can communicate with hers. It's part of her. Jiho considered this. If you're right, that would explain why they've been with us so long without us knowing. They're not parasites or symbiotes. They're us. Back in the lab, the research team grew. Zelter returned, along with other alien scientists assigned by the council. Yeonji worked with them, teaching others how to sense their shadows. It's like learning to move a muscle you never knew you had, she explained to a group of human volunteers. You have to feel it first, then suggest rather than command. Some humans learned quickly. Others struggled. But by the end of the first week, 20 humans could make their shadows respond to simple thoughts. Jinwoo developed a new theory with Dr. Kang. If the shadows are extensions of our consciousness into other dimensions, he explained to the team, then they might be able to perceive threats we can't see. Like early warning systems, Haijin suggested. Exactly, Jinwoo agreed. They don't just protect us from physical danger. They protect us from things beyond our normal senses. Selter watched the humans practice with growing concern. His eyes shifted between colors. You are making remarkable progress, he told Jiho one evening. Too remarkable, perhaps. What do you mean? Jiho asked. Some on the council fear what will happen when all humans can do what Yeonji does, Selter said quietly. They see it as a threat. It doesn't have to be, Jiho replied. We could use this ability to help the galaxy, not harm it. Selter's eyes turned a color Jiho had never seen before, a deep, swirling black. I hope you are right, Commander. For all our sakes. That night, Jai-Ho noticed Selter secretly copying research files. His shadow noticed too, growing darker as it watched the alien work. Jai-Ho did not confront Selter about the copied files. Instead, he told Taiwan to watch the alien scientist closely. Two could play at the secret game. In the main lab, Jin Wu and Dr. Kang worked day and night on a new device. They modified the alien technology that let humans see their shadows briefly. If my theory is right, Jin Wu explained to the team, this will let us not just see our shadows, but actually connect with them properly. The device looked like a large ring that could fit around a person. Inside the ring, strange energies glowed and pulsed. We need volunteers, Dr. Kang announced. This is not without risk. We don't know exactly what will happen. Hai-Jin stepped forward first. I'll do it. Taiwan joined her. Me too. 4 other humans volunteered as well. Eun-ji would oversee the test, since she already had some connection with her shadow. The device creates a field that shifts your perception partially into the dimension where the shadows are more solid, Jin Wu explained. It should let you see and feel them clearly. The volunteers stood in a circle around the device. Jin Wu activated it. The ring hummed, and the energy inside it spread outward, surrounding the humans in a soft blue light. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then Hai-Jin gasped. I see it, she whispered. Not just as a shadow on the floor. It's beautiful. The others began to see them too. Around each human was a dark figure that matched their shape, but they weren't scary monsters like the aliens had described. They looked like elegant forms made of shifting darkness that moved like flowing water. They're responding to us, Taiwan said in wonder. Mine just copied my movement. Jai-Ho watched from outside the field. Can you communicate with them? Hai-Jin closed her eyes. Not with words. But I feel emotions. Protective feelings. It's happy we can see it now. Dr. Kang took notes rapidly. Ask them questions. See if they understand. Taiwan held out his hand. His shadow extended what looked like a hand too. When they touched, Taiwan's eyes widened. I can feel its memories, he said. So many memories. It's been with me my whole life. Watching. Protecting. One by one, the volunteers made contact with their shadows. Each described similar experiences, not words, but feelings, impressions, and memories. They've saved us so many times, one volunteer said with tears in his eyes. From accidents, from dangers we never even noticed. Eun-ji, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke up. They want to show us something. Everyone, ask your shadow about past threats to Earth. They all did. What followed was amazing. The shadows began to move together in the center of the ring. They formed shapes and scenes from Earth's history. Asteroids deflected from hitting the planet. Alien ships turned away. Even human conflicts where the shadows had subtly intervened to prevent the worst outcomes. They protected us from 6 different alien species that tried to invade Earth before we developed space travel, Hai-Jin reported, watching the shadow images. They made our planet seem cursed or haunted. That's why so many alien observation missions failed, Taiwan added. The shadows scared them away. Jai-Ho was amazed. All this time, humanity had guardians they never knew about. The shadows had shaped human history from the shadows, true to their nature. From the side of the lab, Selter watched with eyes that kept changing color. Sometimes blue with wonder, sometimes red with fear, sometimes that strange swirling black. Jin Wu approached Jai-Ho while the experiment continued. Commander, I found something odd in Selter's research files, he whispered. There's information about a device designed to separate shadows from humans. A weapon? Jai-Ho asked quietly. Worse, Jin Wu replied. It could kill millions if used on Earth. It forces the shadows out of our dimension completely. Jai-Ho glanced at Selter, who was speaking urgently into a small device. Keep the experiment going. Learn everything you can. I'll deal with Selter. Inside the energy field, The connection between humans and shadows grew stronger. They began to work together, the shadows responding more precisely to human thoughts. I can see through its eyes, Jin reported. It can show me things beyond normal human perception. The shadows can communicate with each other too, Ta-One added. They're like a network that spans the whole planet. Eunji suddenly stiffened. Her shadow grew larger, extending up the wall. Something's wrong, she said. My shadow was warning me. There's danger coming. At that moment, alarms began to sound throughout the station. Jaeho's communication device beeped urgently. Commander, came a panicked voice. Council security forces are heading to your lab. They're heavily armed. Shut down the experiment. Now, Jaeho ordered as the alarms blared. Jinwoo quickly moved to turn off the energy ring, but Eunji held up her hand. Wait, our shadows are trying to tell us something important. The shadows in the ring formed a new shape, a large circular device with energy beams pointing at Earth. That's a weapon, Ta-One said, interpreting what his shadow showed him. It's on the other side of the station. Selter, Jaeho growled. He's betrayed us. The door to the lab slid open. Security officer Eunji stepped in with 3 human guards, their shadows stretched tall behind them. Commander, we need to move now, she said urgently. Council security forces are 2 minutes away. They're heavily armed. Jaeho made a quick decision. Jinwoo, Dr. Kang, bring your research data. Jin, Ta-One, stay with the volunteers. Keep the connection with your shadows. We might need them. As they hurried through the station corridors, Jaeho explained what he had learned. Selter has been working on a device that can separate shadows from humans. Jinwoo thinks it could kill millions if used on Earth. Why would he do this? Dr. Kang asked. We're about to find out, Jaeho said grimly. They reached a restricted area of the station. The door was locked, but their shadows moved ahead, seeping through the tiny cracks around the door. Moments later, the lock clicked open. Inside was a large room filled with complex machinery. In the center stood a massive device, exactly like the one the shadows had shown them. Selter was there with several members of the Purity faction, working quickly at control panels. Stop, Jaeho shouted as they entered. What are you doing, Selter? The alien scientist turned, his eyes deep red with determination. What must be done, Commander? Your shadows are too dangerous to exist. They protect us, Jin argued. They've never harmed anyone who didn't threaten humans first. For now, Selter said. But you don't understand what they truly are or what they might become. He gestured to the device. This will create a field that pushes the shadows out of our dimension forever. They won't be destroyed, just separated. And what happens to the humans bonded to them? Dr. Kang demanded. Selter looked away. Some will survive. The young, perhaps. The strong. But millions will die, Jaeho said. You know this. A sacrifice to save the galaxy, one of the Purity faction members declared. Jinwoo stepped forward, studying the device. You've done this before, haven't you, Selter? Your species had shadows once too. The room went silent. Selter's eyes turned a deep blue of sorrow. Yes, he admitted finally. Long ago, my people had companions like yours. We called them soul mirrors, but we feared them. We weaponized them in a war against another species. What happened? Ta-One asked. We built a device like this one, Selter said, touching the machine. We thought the shadows were making us violent, making us want to fight. We separated them from us. His voice grew quiet. Half our population died instantly. The rest changed. Something was missing from us afterward. We never recovered. And now you want to do the same to humans. Jaeho was shocked. Why? Because your shadows are already evolving, Selter said urgently. Becoming more aware, more connected. The more you communicate with them, the more power they gain. Soon, they might not be content to just protect. They might want to rule. You're wrong, Yunji said firmly. They don't want to rule. They want to partner with us. The device began to hum as it powered up. Lights flashed across its surface. It's too late to stop it, Selter said. The beam will target Earth in 5 minutes. The shadows will be pushed away. Jaiho looked at his team. Options. Before anyone could respond, their shadows began to move. All around the room, the human shadows stretched and grew, becoming darker and more solid than ever before. They flowed together like black water, forming a single mass that moved toward the device. What are they doing? One of the Purity faction aliens cried in fear. The shadows surrounded the machine. Where they touched it, the metal began to frost over. Lights flickered and died. The humming sound grew weaker. They're shutting it down, Jin Woo said in amazement, working together to absorb the energy. Stop them, Seltar shouted. The Purity faction members drew weapons, but their hands shook with fear. The shadows continued their work, systematically disabling the machine. They moved with clear purpose and intelligence, communicating in ways the humans could almost understand now. This is unprecedented, Dr. Kang whispered. This level of coordination between shadows has never been recorded. The device gave one final sputter and went dark. The shadows retreated, flowing back to their human partners, but remaining visible, no longer hiding their presence. Zelter fell to his knees. You don't understand what you've done. My people learned too late. The shadows are not what they seem. What do you mean? Jaiho demanded. Before Excelter could answer, Chairperson Elox entered with a team of council guards. Arrest them all, Elox ordered, pointing at Selter and the Purity faction members. Conspiracy against a member species is a violation of our highest laws. As the guards led them away, Selter called out to Jaiho. Ask your shadows what they really want, Commander. Ask them why they chose humanity. Jaiho looked down at his shadow, now clearly visible beside him. For the first time, he wondered if there was more to learn about these ancient companions than either humans or aliens truly understood. 3 days after stopping Selter's plan, Commander Jaiho Kim stood before the full Galactic Council. The massive chamber was filled with representatives from all 127 member worlds. This time, humans and their shadows stood proud, no longer hiding what they were. Members of the council, Jaiho began, his voice strong and clear. You have heard many things about humans and our shadows. Today, I bring you the truth. Behind him stood his team. Hai Jin, Taiwan, Dr. Kang, Jin Woo, and Yunji. Their shadows were visible to all, standing tall beside their human partners. We have evidence that Selter and members of the Purity faction planned to use a weapon that would have killed millions of my people, Jaiho continued. He nodded to Jinwoo, who displayed the data they had gathered. Images filled the air above the council floor. Selter's secret files, recordings of his confession, and data from the weapon itself. Chairperson Elox spoke. These actions were not approved by the council. Those responsible will face justice. Thank you, Jaiho said. But there is a larger issue we must address. The fear of human shadows has nearly led to war. This fear comes from not understanding. He gestured to Dr. Kang and Jinwoo, who stepped forward. Our research has made an important discovery, Dr. Kang announced. The entities you call umbral symbiotes are not separate creatures that attach to humans. They are extensions of human consciousness, parts of ourselves that evolved to interact with dimensions beyond normal space-time. Jinwoo activated a display showing brain scans. Human brains developed a unique ability to extend part of our awareness into other dimensions. What you see as shadows are the visible parts of this extension. A murmur spread through the chamber as council members discussed this new information. In the past 2 weeks, Dr. Kang continued, volunteers have learned to communicate with their shadows, not as separate beings, but as parts of themselves they never knew existed. Eunji stepped forward. Her shadow moved with her, perfectly in sync. With proper training, humans can work in harmony with their shadows. They respond to our intent, not just our fear. To demonstrate, she asked her shadow to lift a small object from across the room. The dark shape extended smoothly, wrapped around the item, and brought it back to her hand. The movement was gentle and precise, nothing like the violent actions the Council feared. "We propose a new understanding between humans and the Council," Jaiho said. "We will establish a specialized academy on Earth where humans can safely learn about their abilities. Council observers will be welcome to monitor our progress and provide guidance." Chairperson Elox considered this. "And what guarantees do we have that these abilities won't be used for war?" "The same guarantee you have from any member species," Jaiho replied. "Our word and our shared interest in peace." He paused. "But I should add, our shadows have protected Earth for thousands of years without ever seeking conquest. They defend, they don't attack." An old alien near the back of the chamber stood up. "I am Elder Mock of the Veteran. Our records go back further than any species here." The ancient being's voice was soft, but carried throughout the room. "There is truth in what the humans say. Long ago, many species had such companions. Most lost them as they developed technology and began to fear the unknown parts of themselves." The elder looked directly at Jaiho. "Humans are special not because they have these shadows, but because they maintain their connection without even knowing it. This speaks to something unique in your species, an acceptance of mystery that others lost." After hours of debate, the Council voted. The ultimatum against Earth was revoked. Instead, a new agreement was formed. Humans would study their abilities under ethical oversight, sharing what they learned with the Council. 1 month later, Jaiho stood at the window of the new Shadow Academy in Seoul. Students from around Earth came to learn about their shadows. Council observers worked alongside human scientists, studying this unique ability. "Commander," Hai-Jin called from the doorway. "The Narvian ship is here. They're requesting our help." Jaiho nodded. The Narvians were facing threats from a dimension humans could now perceive, exactly the kind of problem only shadow-capable humans could help with. "Send Yunji's team," he said. "They're ready." As Hai-Jin left, Jaiho looked down at his shadow. It was always visible to him now, a constant companion. "Selter asked why you chose humanity," he said quietly. "I think I know the answer now." His shadow shifted slightly, forming a shape like two hands clasped together. "Partnership," Jaiho said with a smile. "Not master and servant, not host and parasite. Two parts of the same whole, working together." Outside the academy, alien ships landed daily. The same commanders who once begged humans to leash their shadows now came seeking their help. The galaxy was full of dangers beyond normal perception, threats only humans and their shadows could face. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through superior technology or military might, but through embracing the mysterious parts of themselves that others had feared and rejected. The shadows had always been there, waiting for humans to notice them. Now that they had, the real journey was just beginning.